Chapter 11, The Ash Siorienties. The world outside Askustrad Base was a graveyard of wind and color. From the air it looked peaceful, shimmering plains of silver ice, but every gust carried dust the color of rusted blood. Those were the ash currents, the invisible storms spreading from the ion impact zones. Briar stood in the airlock, helmet under his arm, stabilizer pulsing like a second heartbeat on his forearm. The hum was softer now, familiar. He could almost pretend it belonged there. Solis appeared behind him, a thin silhouette framed by white light. "Remember," he said, "the field will monitor your readings. 30-second bursts, then cooldown, if you exceed that." "I melt," Briar finished. Solis's mouth twitched. "That's the technical term." Lyra adjusted her rifle harness, glancing over. "You sure you're steady enough for this?" He met her gaze. Steady, overrated. The airlock hissed open, and the cold hit them like a wall. They rode a skimmer low across the frozen coast, its antigravs humming beneath layers of ice dust. The wreckage of old cities slid by below, steel bones jutting through white drifts, skyscrapers bent like black fingers. Every few miles, flashes of violet energy rippled through the clouds. "Residual ion discharge," Lyra murmured. "No," Briar said quietly. "That's structure patterned. They're building something." Solis's voice crackled through comms. "We believe they're installing terraforming pylons. The ash currents carry particulate designed to alter atmospheric composition. You're heading toward one of the major nodes." Briar looked out across the desolation. "Then, let's see what the universe's gods are planting in our dirt." The skimmer touched down near what used to be a harbor. Ships lay frozen in mid-collapse, their hulls eaten by frost and plasma scoring. At the center of the bay stood a spire, taller than any tower left on Earth. It pulsed violet every few seconds, sending rings of distortion across the ice. Lyra knelt, adjusting her visor. "That's ion architecture, biomechanical composition." "Meaning?" "It's alive." They advanced cautiously. The closer they came, the more Briar felt the air shift. Each pulse of the spire made his stabilizer vibrate, like it recognized something kin to itself. "Doc," Briar said into comms, "this thing's interfering with the regulator." "Pull back," Solis ordered. "If the frequencies align, it could override the failsafe." "Too late," Briar muttered. The stabilizer flared, veins of light crawling up his arm. Pain lanced through his ribs. The scar where the inhibitor had fused burned hot enough to smoke. He dropped to one knee. Lyra caught his shoulder. "Briar." He gritted his teeth. "It's not attacking, it's calling." The spire's light changed, its rhythm syncing with his pulse. For a moment he saw it, not just the machine, but the network beneath the ice. Tunnels of living metal, veins of energy stretching toward every continent. "They're seeding the planet," he whispered. "They're turning Earth into another Sitar." A shriek tore through the wind. Out of the haze came ion sentinels. Half a dozen, lean and elegant, their armor reflecting the spire's glow. Lyra drew her weapon, light flaring around her wrists. "Company." Briar rose slowly. The stabilizer's hum sharpened into a steady tone. He could feel the power begging to break free. 30 seconds, he told himself. Make them count. He triggered the release. Blue-white light exploded outward, carving arcs through the fog. The first sentinel disintegrated under a wave of kinetic force. The others darted aside, fast as thought, firing lances of violet energy. Briar moved through them like a storm given shape, each motion measured, brutal. The stabilizer's timer ticked in his mind, each second a countdown toward collapse. Lyra covered his flank, her shields flashing gold as plasma bolts struck. 2 left. Not for long. He slammed his palms together. A shockwave rippled through the ice, cracking the bay in half. The last sentinels shattered as frozen water erupted around them. When the light faded, he was on his knees, breath ragged, the stabilizer flickering between blue and red. Lyra crouched beside him. Talk to me. He managed a grin, still steady. She laughed, half relief, half shock. That's one word for it. Back aboard the skimmer, Solis' voice was urgent. That surge registered across the hemisphere. Whatever you did, the ions know now. They'll respond. Good, Briar said. Let them. I'm serious, Briar. The stabilizer. Adapting faster than expected. It's rewriting its own parameters if you keep pushing. I'm not the only thing evolving out here, Doc. He looked through the viewport. The spire was collapsing, molten violet bleeding into the ice, but dozens more lights glimmered on the horizon. They're changing the air, Lyra said softly. Look. The auroras above had shifted, no longer green and blue, but faint crimson threaded with gold, like veins in the sky. Briar touched the stabilizer, feeling it pulse back in answer. They want to make Earth into Sitar, then we'll make sure they choke on it first. That night, back at Askustrad, the storm raged outside. Solis watched Briar's bio-readings spiral across a dozen screens. The patterns weren't random. They were forming words, coordinates, communication. He whispered to himself, he's syncing with their network. Outside, Briar stood in the snow, eyes reflecting the red aurora. The stabilizer glowed steady now, no longer fighting him but breathing with him. He didn't know if that meant victory or infection. But he did know one thing. For the first time, he could hear the enemy's heartbeat. And it was getting louder.